Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Good morning and welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. I'm Carol and I'm here with my co-hosts, Gretta, Kathleen, and of course, the Realm of Beings. Well, we are here, your Shifting Impressions team, in New York City at the 35th anniversary of the New Life Expo, tomorrow, October 19th, until Sunday, October 20th, here at the New York Bar Historical Building on 44th Street, between 5th and 6th Avenues. Gretta will be performing complimentary psychic readings as well as lectures and workshops. Kathy will deliver a lecture as well. And yours truly, myself, will be here to say hi as your lovely hostess. You can still get your tickets online at www.newlifeexpo.com. Of course, you can always experience Shifting Impressions and the latest news on our website, www.therealmofbeings.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and any other of your favorite streaming platforms. We at Shifting Impressions are very happy to be here on Transformation Network every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time and 8 a.m. Pacific. Listeners, if you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining us and being part of this experience. These conversations will help you to look at your life and your creation of reality to see what you're creating, how it shows up, and how to help you gain perspective so you can learn how to shift what you are creating in order to create what you want. So welcome everyone to our new listeners and viewers to the podcast. Each week, Gretta shares with us a quote given to her from the Realm of Beings, which first we discuss with each other, and later on in the show, the realm will join us to expand and expound on the quote. The quote they've provided Gretta and us this week regards dreams. Your dreams are ways to explore the unconscious. Now, my interpretation, if I'm correct, are the dreams that we have when we're sleeping, not dreams like, hopes and wishes. I believe that dreaming, and Gretta can correct me if I'm wrong, are actually another way we create reality. It's a different reality, and it's the unconscious talking to us through symbols. So that's why people are always looking for dream interpretations. What does it mean? What does this symbol mean? What does it mean if I'm on a green field or looking at the blue sky? There's all symbolism. But it's still your unconscious communicating with you through another reality you're still creating. Ladies, would you agree with that interpretation?
Go ahead, Kathy.
Yeah, Carol, I think I pretty much agree with it, but I was just sitting there thinking about my dreams, to be quite honest with you. Some of my dreams. That's so to me, when I remember a dream, I'm not sure if it is a dream. Because sometimes I dream and it's like, I don't remember a darn thing, but sometimes it's almost like it's as if someone wants me to really, if my unconscious or I want to really know something or remember something, I can remember it. Some of them I can recall, and some of them I can tell you exactly what I was dreaming and what I experienced 15 years ago. Because that's the image, that's what's burned into my memory. And I'm not sure if it's a dream or a vision or what the difference is sometimes, but they're like the same experiences. And I also don't know, Carol, if they're out of body experiences, or what am I trying to say? If an aspect of myself has gone somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right. A
Because
lot of people travel when they're dreaming. You're absolutely correct. I know sometimes I might not remember the actual dream, but I remember the sensation of it. And throughout the day, something might trigger that sensation. So again, I just feel it's my unconscious trying to teach me something or make me aware of something. And then there are people that do what they call lucid dreaming. And I'm not sure how that differs from sleeping dreaming, because I've never done lucid dreaming. So maybe Greta
you
can
don't know if you haven't done lucid dreaming.
I
What do you
think I
mean
might
by lucid dreaming, Carol?
There are people who claim, in fact, I knew someone who she did it, where they're actually awake, but they can go into a dream state, the same type of dream that you would have when you're asleep, only they're doing it when they're awake. So it's lucid because they're aware of it and they can remember it.
That to me is like thinking.
It's quite possible. It's quite possible.
That's what it seems like to me, that you're just thinking about something or you're planning something. Like if you're thinking about, you've got to plan a birthday party for somebody. So therefore in your mind, you're working through it to see, well, where do I want to put the centerpiece? What do I want the centerpiece to look like? So you start actually seeing it and creating it in your mind. But I was not aware. I've heard the term lucid dreaming, but I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah,
For me personally, it's just thinking about what you're going to do. It's, if that's the case, I do it all the time.
but there are people that actually, there are groups where they actually get together and lay down and do what they call lucid dreaming. But I don't understand. I don't know. Carol might know more about that, but I honestly don't know. I just know that there are people that do that, and I have heard of the term. But it's like when I go to sleep at night, aren't I lucid dreaming? Especially if I remember that dream, like the one where I'm on this bird, and all of a sudden I'm zooming somewhere and I'm winding up. I said, "Those look like the Great Pyramids," and it is. And then next thing you know, I'm lying flat on my back, and there's these individuals putting these big stones blocking out the light. And there's this one symbol on the right-hand side of that wall, and I can see it. It's like a hieroglyph, like a backwards P with the little legs. And all of a sudden, when they put the last stone, it's gone. Now, is that a dream, or was I there? And I felt like I was in the Valley of the Kings. I don't know, but I know I was in Egypt. But I don't know if that was a dream, because it kept happening over and over again. Which is one reason why I remember it. Greta, what do you think?
See, that's another thing, we've got to be careful that you weren't in a portal, because a portal will make you feel that you're dreaming. It will give you that impression, and you won't really know that you've found yourself in a portal. One way is that it might be scary or frightening. Anybody out there that's had a nightmare, you might want to check with somebody for you, because that's a sign that you've gone into a portal. Because different species like to have you experience being scary, or scared about something, because that's fear. That's fear, and that's an energy that they love to absorb. You see?
Yeah, I wasn't afraid, but it was just just recurring. And like a lot of times, some of the symbols that we talked about is a dog. There's always a dog. So a dog, that's my North Jersey accent. It's a dog, DAWG. But it's it's Jersey. But sometimes it's always I'm on the same kind of road, and there's a abandoned dog, and I wind up with the dog, bringing the dog home.
Well, see, Kathy,
I think you're looking at it then as something that's really no, I was going to say literary, but literal. You're taking it as something literal. What it is, dreams are nothing but symbolic.
Mm-hmm.
They're symbols. And so you don't look at them as this is what's actually happening. You want to ask, what is the meaning? What is the meaning of the dog? You see, what does that dog mean? What does it mean that I'm walking down the street and I'm in a city, I'm walking down the street, there's nobody around me? What does that mean? So you want to begin to examine, each little part of the dream. In other words, you want to unpack that dream. You want to look
But how do you do that? How do you unpack it, Gretta?
Well, that's because you're going to have to figure out, what do you think? Let me say this. Some people will go on the internet and look up dreams, interpretation of dreams. You can put it in the search, and you'll find that a lot of people have put online what these things that you will see, the symbols that you see online, and they'll give you different meanings for those symbols. It's like, what they remind me of? They remind me of the mental equivalencies that we talked about in the podcast about your health. Like, what does a headache mean? What does itching mean? Okay, so that's the mental equivalencies. Dream interpretation is going into the unconscious. What does that represent for you? What does it mean when I see a yellow lotus flower, or I'm standing in a field in water on the pond where it's filled with yellow lotus flowers? So then you'd want to look at the color yellow. Then you want to look at the fact that you're surrounded by lotus flowers, and then you're standing in water. So then you're going to want to know, what does the water represent for me?
Yeah, but that's still somebody else's interpretation of what standing water is, what a lotus is, and what the color yellow is. Am I correct?
Of course, but then you can say the same thing about mental equivalencies. There's somebody else. So you have to look and see what fits for you. It's not a matter of you just blatantly going with that. You'll be able to figure it out and what they mean.
I actually have. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, I have books that show like interpretations, and essentially they're just based on like psychological things. So again, I think they can mean different things for different people. And you just have to look into your unconscious to try to figure out what it's trying to tell you. Is that
It's the same thing that we do for mental equivalencies. It's like you'll have a whole slew of mental equivalencies, but which one fits for you? You've got to figure out which one is saying, which one fits for my own personal situation. Like I have a gentleman who's incarcerated and is preparing for exoneration. And he has dreams all the time. He's always remembering them. But his dreams, I can't remember any of them right now to talk about, but I know that his dreams show him about leaving and exiting. So I told him, I said, that's what you're dreaming about. You're seeing yourself gone out of this situation. You see, every last one of his dreams shows that. And it's different dreams. But it's all focused on him being exonerated and coming out from the prison environment. Each one of them is different, you see. So it's something that, you just have to figure out. I know some people call me and ask me, Gretta, what does this mean?
Yeah, just thinking about dream books, the only ones I ever saw were the number ones that my aunt and my father used to use. And she would have her dream and she would go, Johnny, Johnny. And she'd figure out the little number, play this 3-digit number here. And she would always hit, but she only played a nickel. But I mean, just getting back to, my own dreams. or again, I believe their dreams. Sometimes it's kind of a temporary challenge for me to know the difference. It's just thinking about them. Like sometimes it's like I'm in a maze. I find myself in a maze, and I'm going from room to room to room to room to room, and there are different people there. And every time I look out, there's nothing there. It's just black. It's just expansive. So sometimes I'll have that, or like there's always a train. So a train might be a symbol, and there's a lower level train, and I'm trying to get to the upper level train. So sometimes it is going different ways, and there's always somebody trying to help me get up to that higher train, because I'm trying to get home. I'm always trying to find my way home.
See, now then you'd want to, it's not literally home. That could be where do you want to be in your life? A train what does the train do? The train takes you someplace. The train moves you. It's a movement. It could indicate moving forward in your life. It could be moving upward in your life. And what does upward mean? Are you increasing your understanding of self? That can be an upward movement. And then you said there's always somebody there to help you. That means you're recognizing that it's not like there's an exact person that's there, but that person is representing help. That person is representing assistance that you're creating for yourself. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's an actual physical person helping you with this. You see,
right? There's always some kind of altercation. I'm always like, I said, why was I yelling at that person? I was probably yelling at myself. Then if I want to look at using the symbols as a thing, because I guess it's me arguing with myself. Then if I wanted to stretch it out, but it's always like, you're not going to tell me what to do. No, it's just, and like a shoving, just like, get off of me. And, well, that could be another portal too. I don't know, but it deals with the movement, with the train, and sometimes follow the cat. If I'm lost, I'm following the cat, and the dog is following the cat, and we're all trying to find our way home. So I have had that experience.
Well, see, we have to let the audience know that Kathy has a cat and she has a dog. Okay, so your unconscious has got the cat leading the way. Spark, who's the dog, is behind, and then you're following them. It doesn't mean that your cat is doing that Spark is doing that. What do they represent? They represent your animals. They represent your pets. They make you feel good.
I felt safer with them,
right?
With me following them. So,
right.
So they know the way home. Right. I'll just follow them, because the cat doesn't get lost. The dog doesn't. I'm just going to follow them home.
Right. So see, then the thing becomes, what were you moving toward? Like I said, because I know you, I would say it's moving toward more understanding of self. Because when you say you're going home in the dream, it doesn't necessarily mean your physical home. But what does home represent? Home represents a place of safety, security, peace. If you were living in a peaceful home. So that means that you're journeying toward more peace, more, because that's what you're seeking in your life. So you're walking and you're seeking home. So it doesn't mean the physical home. It means, how are you feeling about yourself? Now going to the Sphinx and in the inside the pyramids, now that's a whole different other ball game. I see that as you just going remote viewing. And remote viewing means that you're actually going someplace to see what it looks like and going inside and getting the experience of it. I would say that's remote viewing.
Oh, okay. Because I didn't think I was the only person lying down there. You know, if there were other bodies or something to the left or right of me. Hey, maybe I found Queen Nefertiti's too.
Greta, I do have a question. Since both you and Kathy do travel, how do you guys tell whether you're going remote or you're actually dreaming?
Good point. That was my point.
Well, see, we only do remote basically when we're doing the facilitation work, because we have to be able to go to the person's house. That's why we're not, our experiences are not contained with that. We have to have the person, right in front of us. And I know there are other people that do this kind of work as well, probably some of them listening right now to the podcast. But the thing is that you're going to the person's house, or you're going to their apartment or their condo where they are. And see, our remote takes us, we can go inside a person's body. We can communicate with the cells. I know that for some people, they'll think that that's totally impossible, but it's not. And really anybody can do it. You just have to learn to do it. But I wouldn't advise you doing stuff like that, saying, well, I'm going to try and do that. You need to get with somebody who can teach you how to do that before you just move out. So our remote is different from remote viewing. We are actually going to do work. So when we go out to do work, we interact even with other species as well. Whereas remote viewing is just going right here in this reality. It's another reality, but you're seeing the things that are familiar with you, with the reality that you're going into. It's like when and I think we talked about this already, but I'm going to state it again, that, the government was running a whole project dealing with remote viewing because they wanted to they wanted to see if it's possible to train somebody in going remote viewing, so that they, instead of having a spy going actually physically to that country or whatever, that the person would do remote viewing and go and see everything and be able to say. Now, some people, they're remote viewing, when I go out there, I just know I have to use my intuition. I have to use also being able to see in another reality. So that's totally different. As a dream, in a dream state, it also depends on what you're dreaming. In a dream state, I know that I will see things. Like, for instance, one of my things, and I've had this ever since I was a child, is knowing when someone was going to make their transition, you see. So, so I would find myself, there were phases of it. The last phase I didn't really want to keep because I would be right there with the person. And some people weren't dying. Some people had chosen traumatic deaths. So I didn't, and I was privy to watching them go through that. But the thing was that I realized when I decided I didn't want to just always be there and watch it. But I was also notified, because that's one of my tasks, is to assist people to go to the light. So how it came again was through the dream state. And when I would see at that time, it was when I would see my great-grandfather. If I saw my great-grandfather, and I want to say this, I'm not creating to actually see my great-grandfather. Because some people will say, my mother came to visit me. My uncle died that came to visit me. I have one woman, she told me her whole family that died showed up. But it's not so much that they are leaving their new transitional portals to come and show you themselves, as it is that you wanted to see them. So you created the image. Okay. So my grandfather, I wasn't necessarily creating him. It wasn't him. It was a notification that there was someone that was coming to make their transition. And I call him a totem. Once my mother died, then I substituted my mother for my great grandfather. So now when I see my mother in a dream state, then I know that there's somebody who's coming to make their transition. I don't have to worry about who the person is, where the person is. I just know I'm queuing into that person and they're getting ready to leave. So my response to that is let that person go very easily to the white light, because that's what you see. And that's done in my dream state.
Right. And you know what else that you've suggested that we do, Greta? And I think this might be a part, I don't know. If we have to work on something, we'll say we'll sleep on it. And we'll speak it, and now, I'm going to experience creating a solution to whatever challenge I'm having here, or whatever, something that we're working on. I need the answers to come to me. To me, that seems like it's also a part of, we might not call it lucid dreaming, but somebody else might call it that. Because I looked it up as one of the things that they tell you to do is to keep a sleep journal. But I mean, they just call it lucid dreaming. We just call it, what do we call it, Greta, when we do that?
I just call it dreaming and thinking. Because I'll tell you what I did. When I decided that I did not want to become a clinical psychologist any longer, working toward that, I needed to know, well, what am I going to do next? You see? And I remember it got to a point, I said, let me lay down. And I laid down with the intent
there you go.
of when I wake up, I want to know what is a possible direction for me to go into, since I no longer want to, after 5 years of it, study any further clinical psychology. So I must have slept for about an hour. When I woke up, it was like, okay, now you're going to go into naturopathic medicine. And I said, that is the most extreme as far as you want to get away from clinical psychology. But I followed that direction that I received. I've even gone, I remember one time that I was working with 3 other women, and we were doing, our professor had us doing books. And one of the books that we were reading, I can't even remember the name of it now, but it's written by a woman who experiences borderline personality disorder. So we met in our group. I was there were 3 of us, which included me. And we decided what each person was going to do for the project. And it was going to be done in a PowerPoint. So Greta just kept on doing what she was doing, forgot all about the thing. The next day was going to be due. So one of the women sent me, it was either an email or a text message. She said, don't forget, our project is due tomorrow. So you need to send me your part so I can put it in the PowerPoint. I said, oh, hot diggity dog. I said, I forgot all about this. And my part was to go through that woman's book. I had to talk about why she felt that she was tested. So she knew she was borderline personality disorder. So I said, oh my God, I can't even think about how to start my part. So I went and laid down. And I woke up, I said, I need to see the plan for the work that I have to do. I need to know what to do. So I followed it, but I said, dang, this is a lot of work. I couldn't even go to sleep. After I woke up, I was up all day. Our project wasn't due until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Central Standard Time. You better believe I was awake. I woke up from that dream maybe about 11 o'clock. I was up past 24 hours working on that. I said, well, this is a wonderful idea, but I said, dang, this is a lot of work. Because I had to go through every page of that book and point out every page that supported her being borderline personality disorder. You know, I mean, that was a lot. And that's what I was given. So since I was given that, I said, okay, I asked for it. So then I did it. I worked on. Then it was time for the presentation, time for me to stand up there. I did it. My professor, at the end, he said, of all my students, he said, I've never seen anyone provide this amount of information from this text. He said, I've never seen that, you know. So I'm saying all that to say that once we want to do something and we don't know exactly what to do, we can go in and request assistance, because we talked about angels.
That's what came to me earlier. Yep.
You know, and I said, you know, help me, show me what is a possibility. You know, they can't tell you what to do because each one of us creates our own personal reality.
And we have free will.
But they can assist you. You know, like there's
Gretta, we need to take a break. Well, coming.
The Baha'i temple in Evanston, Illinois. That whole temple, Baha'ism is considered the 9th religion in the world. But he got that whole vision of how to structure that. And it's a beautiful place if you ever get a chance to go and see it. But he did that through dreaming about it, just like I did my project by dreaming about it. And then he produced it. So a lot of people use that. And that is a dream, but maybe that's what they call lucid dreaming.
Well, that's what Steve Jobs did. He always did that. Go ahead, Cal.
Actually, I Googled it. Lucid dreaming is dreaming and you're aware of the fact that you're dreaming. That's what they call lucid dreaming. Ladies, I hate to cut us off, but we do want to hear from the realm, and we're running a few minutes behind. So we're going to ask our listeners to stick with us. We'll be back, and when we return, we will be with the realm of beings to have them describe further what they meant by their quote. Thank you again, and we'll see you in a minute. Welcome back, listeners and viewers. Thank you for sticking with us. We are at that point in the podcast where the realm will come through and discuss the quote that they have given Greta this week. Realm, are you with us?
As usual, we are here.
And as usual, we are happy that you are here. Okay, Realm, the quote that we're discussing this week is about dreams. And the quote was, "Your dreams are ways to explore the unconscious." So please give us more information.
Well, I think you ladies have really did a great explanation of it, and sharing all your viewpoints and sharing definitions that other people have given to various types of dreaming. That's pretty good. But what we just want to add and to say again is that dreams are a different reality, you see. So you've actually moved yourself into a different reality. And when we say that reality, it is also illusory as well. It's an illusion. But it does give you information when you know how to use it. Dreams, as you ladies have stated, are nothing. It's symbolic. It's symbolism. It's what do you think it means for you? Like Kathleen following her cat, her dog. That was a very good example, by the way, Kathleen. Thank you for giving us that. Because she's not actually walking with her cat in front of her or walking with her dog in front of her. It's that the cat symbolized something. The dog symbolized something. The fact that they were in front of her. She could have placed them behind her, beside her, but she didn't. In the dream, she placed them in front of her. And she created to follow them. So the following is symbolic unto itself. You see how you take each little part and look at it. There was a question, I don't know if Kathleen asked it, but asked of Greta about unpacking. How do you unpack a dream? You unpack it by looking at each thing meaning something. If you see trees in your dream, the trees are representing something for you. They are not that you are seeing actual trees. You're doing symbolism. It's like people who work with sacred geometry. They're looking at the different symbols, and the different symbols and shapes mean something to them. They've created that. So your unconscious, which is, and we want to remind everybody that the unconscious remembers everything. It remembers every emotion you've had. It remembers every physical thing that you've gone through. It remembers everything. It's different from the conscious level. The conscious level, it's like Greta always uses a glass under a water faucet. You know, in the picture, she shows the glass and the water is going into the glass. And when the water gets all the way up to the top, what does it do? The water overflows. So it's being displaced. Then she has another glass representing the unconscious, and the water never reaches the top. It just keeps flowing, flowing, flowing. That's what your unconscious does, because you're constantly thinking. You're in a state of constant creation of reality. It's just that you accept what you see, and you don't think about the fact that you actually created it. So when you go into this dream, quote unquote, dream state, you know, you're somewhere else in another reality. But you know what is very interesting about that? When you're in your awakened, what you call your awakened state,
Is that even real?
you're also dreaming, you see.
Everything's illusion.
Absolutely. So when you're in this state, in this conscious state of dreaming, you see everything as real. Because, as we've stated in prior podcasts, we talked about your senses. Your sense of feel. We're talking about the 5 senses. We're not going into ESP and all that. We're just talking about your 5 basic senses. You can feel it, it's real. You can touch it, it's real. You can smell it, it's real. You can taste it, it's real. What's the other one?
See and hear.
Hear. There you go.
And see.
Right. Any one of those. It just takes one of them for you. Your mind is going to say, your human mind will say, that's real. Because your human mind is supporting you in the illusions that you're in. So this, as you call it, your conscious level, and you're moving to your job, you're moving down the street, you created all of these people around you. You don't realize you're creating everything.
Well, Ralph,
So
I have
then
a
you
question.
go into another state of being, what you call your sleep state, and you're creating again. It's no different, except this time, the senses that you use in this one dream state, which you call reality, which you call consciousness, those senses help you with that. This sense, in this reality, you have to think a different way. You have to think about what does the thing mean? Don't see it as literal. Like if you see, I'm marrying John down the street. You see that in a dream. You'll see yourself in your wedding gown, John all dressed up in tuxedo. You'll see yourself in a place where all the people at a church, a synagogue, a temple, whatever. And then you see the minister or imam or however your person is, rabbi, saying they're iterating their words that show that you're being brought together in a religious ceremony, you see. So, but you can see that in a dream. That does not mean that you're getting ready to get married. It does not mean that you're marrying John. See, many people look at a dream and they want to take it literal. Dreams are not literal. They are symbolic. So you have to look at yourself. Why am I in a religious place mating with another person? What does the religious place represent? I'm dressed in a long white gown. What does that represent? I'm marrying John. What does John represent to me? Not so it's the representations that you want to cue into, not the actual objects.
Realm, can I ask a question?
Yes, you may, Carol.
Are there ever times that dreams can be literal? Because I remember a previous job that I held, and we used to do these events in different stores. And I had one scheduled for the following day. In my dream, I proceeded to do everything that I was going to have to do, set everything up, lug the stuff from my car. It's like I went through the day. And I remember when I woke up, I realized I was dreaming and went, oh no, I have to do it all over again. And I was actually tired, but I dreamed of exactly what I was going to do anyway.
Well, see, that's what we were talking about, not us, but you ladies were talking about that. How that's a whole different ball game. I don't know what humans call that, but that's just another thing. That's why Greta told you she would lay down and how am I going to do my project? And then she created that project in her mind and then got up and executed it. So you've done the same thing. So that was not symbolic. Dreams are symbolic. What you possibly could have called it is a projection of yourself. Because remember, I want to say this so people don't misconstrue what we're talking about here. There is no future. There is no past. And we stated that to the audience before in previous podcasts. I want to say it again. There is no future. There is no past. Everything is in the now. I am not, some people want to believe that it's in a spiral. It's not in a spiral. So we would highly suggest stop trying to figure out what it looks like. We know Greta calls it mashed potatoes. You have all the little buds in there with mashed potatoes, and she says, that's it. It's all in there together. But everything. So what happened was, it's not that you went into the future, Carol. It appears as though you went into the future. But what you did was, you desired to get a jump on your job. So what you did was, you went and said, okay, I'm going to create this, and I'm going to go through all of this, and when I wake up, the job is done.
Only it wasn't, and I was exhausted.
I can understand that. So that was not a dream. You're projecting your mind to something.
Okay, that makes sense.
What's the difference between a vision and a dream?
A vision is going to be more literal. A dream is totally symbolic. A vision is something, how you can know the difference is because you can be in a dream state, you've gone to sleep, but you see everything perfect. It looks like you are actually there. Like if you wanted to visit your son's house, Kathy, you would go to sleep and you might be given a vision of your son doing something with your grandson. But it's so clear. There's no challenge about that you're not seeing it. You're seeing everything as though you were actually present for that activity.
I have another question then. Sometimes with my eyes open and I'm not dreaming, it's almost like a movie is playing out. And I can see the people moving around. It's in living color. And sometimes it doesn't seem like it's in this reality or in another it doesn't seem like it's in this reality, but it's just so clear. Like, here's an example. I guess I don't know what I call it, but I went to sleep and I woke up because I felt all of these elephants. I said, oh my God, what's wrong with these elephants? They're all lying on the ground, they're dying. What is happening with these elephants? And a couple of days later, they said that about 300 elephants in Africa suddenly died. They don't know why there was a die-off. Was that a dream or a vision?
Let me ask you this. When you were experiencing it, was it very clear?
Yeah, they were just dying. They were just dropping.
And that it was clear. So that was a vision. So you had crossed into probability. You see, because you saw them, but it was up to the elephants to decide that they were going to all leave. So you tapped into the consciousness of the elephants as well.
Oh, okay. That was interesting.
And you could see that's what Greta was talking about when she said that she would be with the person with them going through their dying process.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
It's the same as you seeing the elephants. And it was a
Okay,
clear essence, but you tapped into the energy of the elephants because it was the elephant's personal reality to create that as a collective and as individuals. And then you tapped into the actualization of that because they were thinking that already.
and there was a knowingness with it too. I said, these elephants are sick. These elephants, it's like I guess what you're saying is what I felt it. I said, oh my, okay, this is really. It's like I felt the emotions. I guess
But let us say this to you. When you tapped into that, you see there were a lot of realities that led up to the reality of them no longer being in this reality. So those realities were already there. Those realities were already there, leading them up to the point of dying, as people call death. But so you tapped into that which was already existing. I don't want the audience to think that you went to the future because you did not.
Okay, I got you.
Because there is no future. You tapped into the realities of it because there's a reality for everything. We talked about that in one of the podcasts that people really, if you want to understand about a reality, put your finger up and just move it slightly. Reality is nothing but change. So every time you move your little finger forward or backward, you've created another reality. All you have to do is blink your eyes and you've created another reality. Because the reality that's going on was you not blinking your eyes. All of that is overlaid and going and happening at the same time. So it's not that you went to the future to see the elephants dying. You were right there in their process.
Oh, okay. My last question, because I know Carol's got to close us down, is I'm sorry, go ahead, Carol.
No, that's fine.
Sometimes people say they never dream. I don't have dreams. They say I don't dream. I don't have dreams. Is that possible?
The unconscious is continuously running. It does not shut down. What happens with those people when they say, I don't dream, what it is that they don't remember it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So when you don't remember something, then you feel it's not there.
Right.
So that's what's really happening. Everybody dreams. It's all part of being human.
Yeah. Realm, just to clarify, what is the difference between like what Kathy experienced and astral projection that people talk about?
Astral projection is just, for us, is just the same thing as doing remote viewing. And they put the word astral to it because you have many subtle bodies, which the physical body is one of them. The astral body is another. Your nerve body, your electromagnetic body. For every system that's in your physical body, you have a subtle body for it. Like you have a chemical body that takes care of the chemicals and makes sure that they're working well. You have a skeletal subtle body, which takes care of all the bones in your body. You have a connective tissue subtle body that takes care of and manages the connective tissues. Your physical body is the body that brings all of that and holds it together. So it's working all simultaneously. That's your physical body. And it's the one that you are familiar with, you see, and that you can see it. Remember, there's that word, see it. Now, ask your question again. You're saying the astral projection. The reason why we told you about the bodies is because there's another subtle body. It's called your astral body. And one of the jobs or functions of the astral body is that it assists you in moving in different places. It assists you in your ethereal traveling. That's its responsibility. It's like some people have said they've been abducted by other species. If they've been abducted by other species, they've abducted the astral body. When your astral body has been removed or it's traveling, you're going to see that everything in your inner body continues to work. But to actually move your hand or move your finger, it's going to be quite difficult. Because when your astral body is not present inside your physical body as all the other bodies are, you cannot move your physical body. That's how important your astral body is. So astral projection is just your astral body moving around, looking around, seeing what's out there. It's your astral body that you use for remote viewing, you see. So that's what that is.
So when people are sleeping and their astral body leaves them, are they dreaming also, or are they
Well, see, if you can move in your sleep, then your astral body has not left.
They're still there.
Right. You have your unconscious is dealing with the situation.
Sometimes you can't even speak either. You just like, you want to scream, but you just...
Right. That means your astral body is absent. If you can't perform something with your physical body, that means your astral body is absent.
And Realm, one last question, get back to our listeners and the quote. How can they interpret the meanings of their dreams? Like, what sources should they use?
Well, you've kind of tapped into that earlier, Carol, because I think you all were talking about that on the internet, there are people that have dream interpretations there. I would suggest that you utilize, or that anyone who wants to know, utilize those things that are available.
Okay, that's good to know.
Well, Carol,
let me say this, until you are ready to really go deep inside yourself and you can recognize what things are really meaning for you. But other than that, we suggest you go to books, websites that are open to dream interpretation.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, Realm. Kathy?
Well, Carol, yeah, next week is Halloween. Woohoo! I'll be in my orange and black. Everybody's got to put their orange and black on. Who controls me? Many of you believe that an outer force controls you and that you are destined to experience certain things in your life. You believe that things can be done to you by others and that you have no control over yourselves. So now is the time to rise up and explore your spiritual power. And Greta, come on back, Greta. We forgot you. We left you.
Yeah, you guys left me out.
We never forget Greta.
Never forget
All right.
you.
One, I think this has been a very, very informative podcast because dreaming is definitely something everyone does, whether they remember it or not. And it's very important to understand that it is your unconscious communicating with you and still creating reality. So I think it was very informative. So I'd like to thank Gretta and the Realm and Kathleen and Transformation Network. But most of all, we'd like to thank you, the listeners and viewers, until we create each other again.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the Realm and me, Gretta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multidimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.